Today I'll talk about sourcing, analyzing, and visualizing data for news stories. Here, I will outline the process of sourcing, analyzing, and visualizing data for news stories. It will cover the key aspects of finding reliable data sources, cleaning and analyzing data using appropriate tools and creating compelling visualizations to effectively communicate insights to a broad audience. The aim is to provide a practical guide for journalists and data storytellers to enhance their reporting with data-driven narratives. First, the sourcing of data. Finding the right data is the crucial first step. Here is a breakdown of potential sources. For example, government agencies. These are often the most reliable sources for public data. So the examples may include National Statistical Offices or US Census Bureau, Eurostat. Similarly, regulatory bodies like the Environment Protection Agency, the Food and Drug Administration, local government websites, that is, city and country data portals, international organizations like United Nations, the World Bank, the World Health Organization, the data they collect and publish data on a global scale. Then academic institutions, universities and research institutions often conduct studies and make their data publicly available. Then research papers, data repositories associated with specific departments or projects. Similarly, non-government organizations, because many NGOs collect data related to certain specific missions, projects, such as human rights projects, environment protection projects, or public health projects like that. Similarly, we have commercial data providers. While often requiring payment, commercial data providers can offer specialized data sets not available elsewhere. So examples include certain type of market research firms or financial data providers. Another important data source is public records. Accessing public records through Freedom of Information Act requests or similar laws can uncover valuable data. Then the second process is evaluating data sources. So before using any data, it is essential to evaluate its reliability, authenticity, and validity. Source credibility is one of the vital point over here because the source has to be reputable and trustworthy. And for that, we have to consider the mission, funding, and track record of that sources. Then there are different data collection methodology. How far the data collected is authentic or not. So understanding the methodology helps assess potential bias or limitations of such data. Then we have to consider data accuracy. Are there any known errors or inconsistencies in the data? So that needs to be taken into account. Data completeness. Is the data complete? Are there anything missing? So that has to be also taken into account. Data timeliness is also important. How recent is the data? Is it still relevant to the story? So all these questions need to be answered through your own researches. Then documentation. Does the source provide clear documentation about the data, including definitions, units of measurement, or limitations? Then, while analyzing data, you need to be very conscious or cautious about uncovering meaningful insights. So, data cleaning is also another important step. This is a crucial step to ensure data quality, data authenticity, everything, and accuracy, of course. So, we need to know how to handle the missing values. So, we have to decide how to deal with the missing data. For example, imputation or removal. Then, correcting errors. Identify and correcting errors in the data. If those errors are typo errors or there is some inconsistencies in the numbers. So all these we have to take into account. Then standardizing formats. So we have to ensure that data is in a consistent format. For example, dates, units of measurement, everything should be a standardized format. Then removing duplications. So eliminate duplicate entries. Then data exploration. In this stage, we had to use certain tools or techniques to understand the data's characteristics, like summary set statistics. So here, the data is calculated through descriptive statistics like mean, median, standard deviation, and percentiles. The next step is data visualization. So, in this stage, we need to create histograms, scatter plots, box plots, charts, graphs to analyze and distribute the relationships between different sets of data. Then, data analysis technique. So, here we have to choose appropriate technique based on the research questions. For example, descriptive analysis, which will summarize and describe the data. Similarly, comparative analysis, statistical analysis, where we have to compare different sets of data or different groups of data. We have to categorize data in different groups, and then we can do this correlation. Then trend analysis. So we have to identify the patterns and trends over time. Then correlation analysis, which I just now have spoken about. So the purpose of correlation analysis is to measure the strength and the direction of relationship between different variables. Then regression analysis, which actually model the relationship between a dependent variable, one dependent variable, and one or many independent variables. So there are different tools for data analysis. For example, spreadsheet software, Excel, Google Sheet, or suitable for basic data cleaning. Then exploration and analysis. There are certain statistical software, for example, Python with pandas, powerful tools for advanced statistical analysis and data manipulation. Then there are certain database management system for example, SQL. So these are useful only for managing and querying large data set. Data visualization is key to communicating the findings of data effectively. So choosing the right chart type is important. You have to select a chart type that best represents the data and the story that you want to tell. Bar charts. So bar charts is normally used for comparing categorical data. Line charts, it shows trends over a period of time. Pie charts, it shows proportions of a whole. Similarly, scatter plots, so it shows the relationship between two variables. Maps, it helps to visualize geographic data. So there are certain principles for effective visualizations. The first is clarity. So your visualization should be very, very clear so that anybody can understand easily. Then accuracy. So to represent the data accurately and avoid misleading visualizations. Then simplicity. So you have to avoid jargons, clutter, unnecessary elements. You have to contextualize the data. So you have to provide the context and labels to help the audience understand the data that you're using in your story. Then accessibility. So you have to ensure the visualization is accessible to people with disabilities. For example, use combined, that is, friendly palettes. So, there are different tools for data visualization like spreadsheet software, for example, Excel, Google Sheets, basic charting capabilities, then data visualization libraries, for example, Python with Matplotlib, Seaborn, Plotly, or with Google Plot 2. Then there are more advanced and customizable visualizations tools like interactive visualization tools, for example, Tableau, Power BI. Similarly, interactive, which can create interactive dashboard, etc. Then there are certain visualization tool which will create online chart builders, for example, Data Wrapper, Flourish. So these are user-friendly tools for creating embeddable charts and maps. So for building a story, database story, the storytellers have to take into account the ethical considerations as well. It means they have to avoid misleading visualizations. They have to ensure visualizations accurately represent the data and do not distort the truth. Then the storytellers also have to provide context and transparency. So they have to clearly explain the data sources, methodology, and limitations for the sources. Then they have to consider the audience. So the storytellers may tailor or customize the visualization to the audience's understanding and needs or demands. So by following these guidelines, journalists or data storytellers can effectively source, analyze, and visualize data to create compelling and informative news stories. So we have to remember, they need to remember to prioritize accuracy, clarity, and ethical considerations throughout the process. Here, I'll draw a comparison between regular news stories and data driven news story. So, the example that I'm going to give is on Air India air crash, plane crash that happened very recently. So every story has a lead paragraph, news story. So the example which I'm giving right now, it will start like this: amidst sounds of deep mourning and dramatic visuals unfolded at Juhu Koliwara on Monday, as the mortal remains of Sainita Chakravarti, one of the crew members aboard Air India Flight 171 that crashed shortly after takeoff from Ahmedabad on June 12, were brought home. Heart-wrenching scenes emerged as neighbors, friends, and family gathered in silence, many in tears, to bid farewell to the woman they lovingly knew as Pinky, a kind, soft spoken, and deeply grounded person. If we turn into a data driven story, I would start like this manner: India's tragic air crash, which demanded 241 lives on board, including crew members and pilot and co pilots, ripped apart afternoon silence as it hung over the airways at Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport in Gujarat. As per Rule 3 of Aircraft Investigation of Accidents and Incidents Rules 2017 and Para 3.1 of ICAO Annex 13, the sole objective of the investigation of an accident or incident by Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau shall be the prevention of accidents and incidents, and not to apportion blame or liability. The investigation conducted in accordance with the provision of Aircraft Investigation of Accidents and Incidents Rules 2017 shall be separate from any judicial or administrative proceedings to apportion blame or liability. Consequently, the investigation report published by AAIB should not be used for any other purpose other than prevention of accidents and incidents, as it may lead to erroneous interpretations. Earlier, the government constituted a high level multidisciplinary committee for examining the causes leading to the crash of Air India flight AI 171 from Ahmedabad to Gatwick Airport, London on June 12. An order stated that the committee will be headed by the Home Secretary and will include representatives from the Ministry of Civil Aviation, the Indian Air Force, and aviation experts. The committee will examine the existing standard operating procedures and guidelines issued to prevent and handle such occurrences and suggest comprehensive guidelines for dealing with such instances in the future. An order issued by the Civil Aviation Ministry raid. Teams of National Security Guard (NSG), National Disaster Response Force, Air Force, Forensic Science Laboratory, Fire Rescue Forces, Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, Directorate General of Civil Aviation, and Central Industrial Security Forces inspected the wreckage of the ill-fated London-bound Air India 171 flight on Saturday. Here is a bar chart representing the agencies involved in the investigation of the Air India flight AI 171 crash. Here is given a bar chart representing the agencies involved in the investigation of the Air India flight AI 171 crash. Each bar indicates the active involvement of key bodies such as the NSG, NDRF, Air Force, FSL, Fire Rescue, AAIB, DGCA, and CISF in the aftermath of the incident. Here, I'll give another example of data journalism, which is on tourism in Northeast India. So I'll start. Northeast India has witnessed considerable growth in tourism fueled by government efforts, improvements in infrastructure, and an increase in ecotourism. Public data from the Ministry of Tourism reveal significant trends, investment initiatives, and rising challenges in the industry. So, the first point in the body of the story, I will talk about the growth and investment process in tourism. So, government documents indicate that the Northeast region has been prioritized under the Swadesh Darshan scheme with substantial funds designated for the development of tourism circuits throughout Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, and Tripura. Recent initiatives include 98.05 crore allocated for a tourism circuit connecting Rangpo, Gangtok, Lachung, and other destinations in Sikkim. 99.13 crore for enhancing the Umiam Lake and Orchid Lake Resort in Meghalaya. 97.36 crore for a tribal tourism circuit in Nagaland has been allocated, encompassing Kohima and Okha. Similarly, 94.68 crore has been allocated for Assam's wildlife circuit, including Kaziranga and Manas National Parks. Furthermore, the recent Swadesh Darshan 2.0 initiative has approved projects like the Mechuka Cultural Heart in Arunachal Pradesh, where 18.48 crore has been allocated, and Waterfall Trails Experience in Meghalaya, where 27.84 crore has been allocated. So, the key tourism trends are like this. The Northeast region provides a variety of tourism experiences such as eco and adventure tourism, where whitewater rafting in Arunachal Pradesh, cave exploration in Meghalaya, and trekking in Nagaland will be given opportunity to the tourists. Similarly, cultural and heritage tourism, which is Hornbill Festival in Nagaland, which is very famous, the monasteries of Majuli Island in Assam, and the traditional villages of Mizoram. Then another type of tourism is on the rise, that is wildlife tourism. So Kaziranga National Park and Namdapa National Park, that is in Arunachal Pradesh, draw in nature lovers. Similarly, the benefits of the tourism as well as the challenges also I have to talk about. What are the challenges and opportunities of this rising trend of tourism in Northeast India? So the challenges are like this. Despite its potential, the tourism sector in Northeast India confronts obstacles such as inadequate connectivity, insufficient marketing, and environment issues. Nevertheless, the movement towards green tourism is gaining attraction, promoting eco friendly infrastructure and local community involvement. So, for the data I've used for this story, the data visualization and techniques that I've used to improve this storytelling, data visualization tools like Tableau or Infogram I have used to showcase the rise in tourist arrivals over the years in Northeast India. Also, I have used this tool for allocation of government investment bars, chart and bars. Then, newly emerging ecotourism hotspots. Then, the conclusion can be like this: the tourism growth in Northeast India. The growth of tourism in Northeast India is illustrated by a line graph depicting the rise in tourist arrivals from 2018 to 2022. The decline in 2020 highlights the effects of COVID-19 pandemic with a rebound observed in 2021 to 2022. I've also used different charts, bar graphs, pie charts for depicting the government funding for tourism in the Northeast. A pie chart depicting the allocation of tourism related investments among various states, that is, Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, have obtained the most significant portions of grants. Another key feature of this data based storytelling is the different types of tourism in Northeast India, which I have depicted through a bar chart, illustrating the popularity of various tourism types with eco and adventure tourism at the forefront, closely followed by cultural and wildlife tourism. So all these data I have collected from different sources, that is Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, then Annual Tourism Statistics Report 2020, 2021, 2022, available on tourism.gov.in, this website. Then government investment in Northeast tourism, the data I have collected from the source called Swadesh Darshan and Prasad's scheme reports. Then I have also collected data from Press Information Bureau (PIB) releases on tourism investments. So the types of tourism in Northeast India, I have collected the data source from International Tourism Mart 2022, ISOL, and state tourism departments. I also have referred to Ministry of Tourism's Northeast focused reports. So, to conclude, I must say that the basic difference between generic news story and data based story is the different techniques that are used by the storyteller to use the data not just as a numerical form but also as a stylistic method to enhance the impact of the story and to ensure the authenticity and accuracy of the story. Thank you very much.